Alright class, today we're going to learn how to play a game that I made. This game is loosely based on a game that came out in 1931 called Battleship. It had an exclamation point at the end. Mine doesn't, therefore it's different. Alright, so there's 4 different levels of gameplay that we can have in this game. To start, we're going to play around at level 1, where we play with points. So, each piece of paper has space to play 2 games of Battleship. So for your first game, we're going to fold it in half, so we only have 2 boards. They look slightly different. This bottom board here is the player board. The player board is where you're going to be placing your pieces. Meanwhile, your opponent is also going to be placing their pieces on their player board. Then, this board up here is where you're going to be tracking your hits. This is your hit tracking board. So, this game is fundamentally a game about secrecy. You are going to be placing battleships in your opponent. And you and your opponent will be taking turns firing shots onto the other player's space in an attempt to sink their battleships. For this game, we're going to want some sort of a privacy curtain. So that's what these folders are going to be used for, so that you can place your board under the folder and keep it hidden from the other player. To set up the game, you need to place 3 ships. One of our ships is going to be size of 2 squares. One of them is going to be the size of 3 squares. And one of them is going to be the size of 4 squares. I say squares, but they're actually rectangles on this board. But we're going to treat them like they're squares, because they're supposed to be. Now, these are our 4 ship shapes. We've got our small vessel that's only length 2, and then our medium vessel that's length 3, and then our battleship that's length 4. Now, you can place these on the board vertically or horizontally. So I'm going to pick some starting locations, and I'm going to put my small ship right here. I'm going to place my medium ship right here. And I'm going to place my large ship sideways over here, right to the edge of the board. It's going to go all the way to the edge there. It's got to be 4 pieces in length. Okay. Well, I'm placing my pieces. My opponent is also, in secret, placing their ships. So make sure you're using your privacy folder so your opponent can't see where you're placing your ships. All right, now, once you've both placed your ships, the game moves forward in turns. So, whoever has the birthday closest to the start of the year, so closest to January, is going to go first for this round. So, I'm going to pretend that I'm the one going first for this round. Now, on my turn, I am going to choose a location on the hit tracking board to attack. I'm going to call out that number by first calling out a number from down here, and then by calling out a number from over here. So let's say I want to hit this location to see if there's an enemy ship there. Then I would call out 5-4 for that strike. Then the other player is going to look at their board, and on their board, let's say they had a ship there. Now, this is my opponent's board. So this would not, I would not be able to see this. This would be being kept secret for me by the other player. Now, remember, I called out the strike at 5-4. So the other player is going to check on their map, and they can see that at 5-4, they do indeed have a ship there. So they're going to call hit to let you know that they've been hit by your shot. Great. Now, it's the opponent's turn. Now, let's say your opponent decides your opponent wants to attack here. Your opponent is going to call out 8-3. Then you're going to look at your board and check the spot 8-3 and go, oh, miss. That's not the spot. Now it's my turn again to call out another point. Now I know these ships are all connected and they're all at least length 2. So I know there has to be another location next to this that is also a hit. So I'm going to call out 5-3 because I think maybe the ship is vertically placed. Now my opponent, looking at their board, sees my call of 5-3 and checks their map 5-3 and says miss because there's not a ship there. And then my opponent calls out 3-2. And then I am going to look at my board and see, do I have a ship at 3-2? No, I don't. So I'm going to call miss. Now, a ship is sunk when each piece of it has been struck. So if I were to guess 4-4 on my next turn, that would be a second hit, and now that ship is sunk. Now my opponent would have to say, you sunk my small ship. Or if the medium ship is sunk, you sunk my medium ship. Or if the big ship is sunk, you would announce, you sunk my battleship. And that's how we play Level 1 Battleship.